I think there's a lot. I just talked about Aaron Rodgers, and I want to say this. I think there's a lot of similarities between Aaron Rodgers and Trevor Bauer in that they are constantly putting themselves in weird situations. There are constantly people that are like, I don't like this guy, all these things. And then they whine, like, why am I getting mistreated? Obviously, the Trevor Bauer stuff, I think he should play in I think he should be in Major League Baseball based on what has come out afterwards. I think that he is getting blackballed, all these things. But in the same jest, I don't feel bad for him because I genuinely think that him as a person, and I've never met him. This is where you get into dangerous waters when it comes to celebrities, when it comes to athletes. I've never met him. I don't know what he's like. But based off almost everything that has ever come out about Trevor Bauer is that he doesn't seem like a very fun guy to be around. And guys that constantly like poke and prod, like Aaron Rodgers, like Trevor Bauer do, and then they wonder why everyone doesn't like him, it's not hard to understand why. Like I said, he should be in the league. Everything that has come out, there's certainly people that have done worse things that are playing current Major League Baseball right now. But I also don't feel overly bad for him. So, guys, Elliot, you want to tee up this whole thing?
Well, so Trevor Bauer and Natty Sports were engaged in a friendly friendship argument. Natty Sports was saying, Trevor, please, Trevor, I beg you, please be my friend, and please come to Cincinnati. We'd love to have you. And Trevor's like, well, I'm getting blackballed by all these teams, and these teams don't want me, but it's not for reasons that they're letting the public know about. And there's a much larger conspiracy, and we'll get into some of these tweets here. Casey's going to pull up this first one. So this was one of the ones that started it. And this was, there's absolutely zero belief that my stuff won't succeed in the league. Every team we talk to says I'd be there 1 or 2 in their rotation.
Every team.
Everyone he's talked to.
A lot of teams.
Here's the issue. He's not in the league. So what do you want me to do with that? And that's fine. It's what they're telling him. That's what I believe him. That's what they're telling him. That's what they're telling him. So they go on, yada, yada, yada. Natty goes, well, why is that then? If what are the reasons? Why aren't you signed? And he goes, well, one team told us it's not their decision. It's an MLB decision. One team told me I was too expensive, even though I offered to play for the league minimum. Another team told us they've covered up some stuff in the past, and they don't want the media digging into to find out about.
Interesting.
So now there's a big conspiracy.
It goes all the way to the top.
We got teams covering up things that they don't want the MLB to find out about because you signed Trevor Bauer. What are we talking about? Trevor, brother, I mean this sounds like excuses I give my parents when I don't want to take the garbage out. Like I don't want to go down all the way down to the hill and take the garbage out. There's a much bigger conspiracy out there. Somebody's down on the street maybe and they could kidnap me. Sure it could be true, but it's probably not, Trev.
You know what this I swear to God, you know what this sounds like is when you talk to someone about their athletic career and they're like, yeah, I could have gone D1, but like the coach had it out for me and all this stuff. And you're like, decision. Okay, yeah, whatever, dude. Like it's just the crazy. So in contract negotiations, let's play this out. In contract negotiations, hey, Trevor, we want you to play for this team. Yeah, we think that right away you'd be our ace. You'd be our ace. Unfortunately, and don't go too digging into this, but unfortunately, we've done some bad stuff in the past, and people start digging around, people start looking around, and we look bad now. So, like, what?
Yeah, it's silly.
What? That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
It's nonsense, and it's just whatever. He wants to draw attention to himself.
Which he needs to be doing.
Otherwise,
he'd be nowhere.
So they continue their very, very thrilling conversation here. And Natty says, since when does the MLB have a say who a team signs and employs? And Natty, of course, says, I've lobbied for you on here in the past, but our pitiful president of operations refuses to build a winning team. And Trevor says, that's a great question about the MLB. It shouldn't be their decision, but apparently in certain cases it is. And all of your coaches and players agree with that. But they've been told.
Trevor knows.
They've been told. So now it's the MLB is telling everybody don't sign this guy. He's a problem.
Now I don't necessarily think that's because I do think he's good enough to play in the league. and I
agree with that.
I 100% think that the MLB has had private talks with all the owners and said, hey, let's just keep Trevor Bauer out of this. I think that is something that has happened. So, like, the first thing where he's talking to a team and he's like, this team doesn't want something else to get uncovered if I sign with them, I think that's horseshit. I think that's as bullcrap as it gets. I think at least subscribe to the opinion that the MLB has said, sign Trevor at your own caution. Not outwardly said you can't do it, but maybe have laid parameters out to be like, hey, if this happens, then like we're gonna be a little tougher on you.
So then this conversation continues, and Natty Sports says, I still can't believe how much some of them hated you. Thanks, Nat. And then he says, and to that, 2 of them disliked me. 1 because I stood up for the rest of the team's interests, specifically young players who felt they couldn't speak up on a controversial issue. He disagreed with, quote, my stance, not realizing it was the stance of the majority of the team. Sorry, I lost my place here. The other disliked me because I demanded better effort from our veterans. The effort we were getting from this specific individual was not acceptable in a winning culture. Now, this is where the key word comes in. Apparently losing for 10 straight years sucks the competitor out of you. But we got it resolved in the end and had the best year the Reds organization has had in the last decade. Neither of those individuals are with the team anymore, just to clear it up. Why?
He was just saving everyone's name.
Why are you doing this? If you're a player trying to get back in the league, I feel like the last thing you should be doing is calling out, bringing up drama from 4 years ago, about the Cincinnati Reds. Why are you calling out Joey Votto? Why? Why even bring it up? I know it's your story. You can tell your stories. Great. But if you're a guy trying to get back into Major League Baseball, I feel like you shouldn't want to call out active MLB players and say, you know what, we had a big argument once. They didn't like me for a time. They weren't the only ones who didn't like me. There's a conspiracy. Nobody likes me. But the MLB tells them not to like. It's just, there's so many excuses, and I get it. It's frustrating getting blackballed from Major League Baseball. I'm not saying the guy should never pitch in the league again. From all accounts, again, legally speaking, he probably should be back from a legal standpoint. But Reed was right. Everywhere he goes, he's had issues. I can't imagine this was the only issue he's had in Major League Baseball. I imagine he had a couple little things that happened in Cleveland. What about when he threw a baseball over the center field batter's eye when his manager tried to pull him from a game? I get it. These are just lone instances. I'm not saying anything about. I'm just saying, like, if you're trying to get back in the league, let's not slander Joey Votto. And Joey Votto's a guy that I think, unfortunately, has taken some slander over the past couple of years just because it didn't end well. He was 40 years old, and he didn't hit 300 when he was 40 years old. I don't get the hate for Joey Votto. And if anything I saw from last night, and it's incredible to me, it's incredible that so many Reds fans still don't like the guy. They don't respect what he did. They don't understand why the Reds paid him. They don't understand that you can pay more than a $120 million contract in Major League Baseball. People don't get that. I don't understand the logic of the Joey Votto hate. I'll never understand it. I don't get it. He was a better player than any player he played with outside of Junior. He played with Junior for 2 years. He was a better baseball player in that I've seen as a 25-year-old human being. He was a better baseball player than anybody else. And people are going to sit here and tell me he didn't want to win while he was leading the team in every statistical category? What? Where does that logic come into play? I don't get it. And the Trevor Bauer stuff, people want to know why that guy's not in the league. It's probably because he feels the need he has to air Twitter drama every chance he can. You can have your excuses. We get it, man. We get it. But you don't got to tell us every day. We know what's happened to you. It's wrong. I'm sorry. Legally speaking, you should probably be back. But I promise you, the play is not to piss off Major League Baseball players that you're going to try to enter the pool of again whenever you come back from Mexico. It's not going to happen.
Like I said, and I kind of teased this early on in the show that it feels like a few like different sides of this stuff got vindicated because people that don't like Trevor Bauer, guys like me who don't like it's not even about it's not even about the legal stuff, which I will admittedly, as someone who didn't like Trevor Bauer beforehand, I admittedly jumped to conclusions when that stuff came out because it vindicated my opinion on him, and then it comes out that it's not true. And I'll say this over and over and over again, that one, you're allowed to change your opinions if new facts come out. And when new facts came out, I felt bad. I felt bad about things that I've said about Trevor Bauer in the past. He should play in Major League Baseball. There's no doubt about it. He's got good enough stuff. What's going on to him is absolutely wrong. But I don't feel bad for people that constantly try to piss other people off when the other people get mad at him. There's a Sports Illustrated article about Trevor Bauer that came out a couple years ago, like 5-6 years ago, and he was quoted in there as saying, "I'm good at two things, and that's throwing baseballs and pissing people off." Okay, dude. He got players that played with him when he first came up in Arizona have gone out and said, "Hey, this dude rubbed everyone the wrong way. No one liked him." And like people have said that, teammates of his. Then he obviously had a big feud at UCLA with Garrett Cole. He's obviously had a feud with Joey Votto, who was this franchise's player. When he got traded away from the Diamondbacks, he made a diss track towards the Diamondbacks. I don't feel bad for Aaron Rodgers when he's constantly poking and prodding at everyone, and then he's like, "Why is everyone not like me?" I don't feel bad for Trevor Bauer when he's constantly poking and prodding at everyone and then going out and say, "Hey, why does no one like me?" Here's what I'll say. And maybe I shouldn't even talk about this subject because it seems like you just get in trouble. But if the stuff that Trevor Bauer was accused of and the reason that he left the league happened to a guy like David Ortiz, Big Papi, beloved by everyone. If that stuff came out and he gets banned from the league, whatever happened with Trevor Bauer, and then it comes out that it wasn't true, guess who's back in the league? Big Papi. Like, you reap what you sow. And if you're constantly pissing people off, don't wonder why there's no one vying for you or pledging your case. I don't know. Once again, I think he should be in the league. I think it's absolutely wrong what he has happened. There's actually another case of this happening in baseball currently, and that is in Major League Hall of Fame. Curt Schilling. Curt Schilling's not being allowed in the Hall of Fame because of his political beliefs and things that he said on social media in the past. That's so absolutely wrong that it's crazy. It is absolutely insane that Curt Schilling isn't in the Hall of Fame because of his political beliefs. It's terrible. It's wrong. Has he said things that are crazy? No doubt about it. But it's wrong that he's not in the Hall of Fame because of those things. And it's wrong that Trevor Bauer isn't playing Major League Baseball. But in the same jest as me saying that, don't be confused or don't cry wolf when you've pissed everyone off in the process. You've got to maintain relationships for this reason. And anyone that calls himself the last honest man, get off your damn high horse.
My last thing I'll add is, and again, I do the thing where I defend Jonathan India's Rookie of the Year. Trevor Bauer pitched 11 games during his Cy Young season. I thank him very much for the Cy Young, our very first Cy Young in franchise history. Thank you, Trevor. But let's not pretend that was a real Cy Young. It's 11 games.
See, I disagree with that because everyone played the same league. He was the awards for the best pitcher in the league.
That's my take.
And he was the best pitcher in the league that year. It's just like the World Series. Yeah, I mean, like, we can make fun of him, Mickey Mouse, whatever you want to call it.
Everyone played 60 games.
But, like, yeah, everyone had the same opportunities. It's almost like when you play. We'll talk about Week 1 last year with the Bengals and the Browns. I like to make the excuse, it was raining and it was terrible weather. I mean, the Browns played the same conditions. I was a Cubs fan. Yu Darvish finished second in that Cy Young race. I wanted Yu Darvish to win. Do I make fun of Trevor Bauer for winning the Cy Young? No. Because he earned it, because he was the best pitcher in the shortened season. That was the season that they played. But you are right. It doesn't belittle what you said about, like, he gets all this praise for pitching 11 games, right? Like, if you took away the first 2 months April and May, who's the MVP, Mookie Betts would be the MVP of the National League. The Cy Young would probably go to like Shota, who had gave up like 1 run in the first 2 months. But it is what it is.
That's it.
Yeah, that's all I got to say. Like I said, I try not to talk about those things too much because I feel like wherever there's no proper way to go about it. But my opinion on the thing is, and I've said it 6 times now, I'll say it again, is that just don't. If you're an asshole and you wonder why people don't like you, it shouldn't be a surprise. Like if you're going to be an asshole, be an asshole. That's fine. That's fine. But don't pout on the other end because no one likes you. He should pitch it. He should pitch it. I hope he pitches again. I really do hope that Trevor Bauer gets an opportunity.
You think you will?
I don't. This is where
no, because he does stuff like this.
Right.
It's so stupid.
He's not making any friends. I do think that the MLB has blackballed him. I think they have.
Yeah.
I think they have. There's no doubt in my mind that they have blackballed him.